All right. I would like to open the April 16th meeting of the Wakefield Conservation Commission. First up, we'll do a roll call. I do know Ken's traveling. Haley.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
Peter.
Here.
Teresa.
Here.
All right. Before we start, I do want to say this will be the last meeting for Teresa and Peter and myself, actually. And thank you, Peter, for your years of service to the town and Conservation Commission. And Teresa, your 2 tours of, volunteering for the commission.
And you, Bob, with considering you've been doing continuously for
27, almost 28 years.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not passing Jimmy.
You're first runner up though. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Runner up.
Second place is for losers, right?
No.
Jesus.
All right. Anyways, so first of all, we do have an announcement that DEP 313-631 94 Butler Ave is continued to May 7th at the applicant's request. If there's anybody here for 94 Butler Ave, it is continued to May 7th at the applicant's request. All right. That brings us to 0 Preston Street. Paul, do you have a DEP file number?
No, we don't. The post office lost the certificate for the original filing, and the UPS I sent out overnight delivery. It took 5 days to get there overnight. So don't have
Well,
any.
anyways, this
Same
is
time with night.
this is a continued public hearing notice of intent for the demolition of existing garage and construction of 2-family dwelling with associated utilities, grading, and landscaping within 100 feet to the bordering vegetated wetland. All right, Paul, take it away.
Good evening, Paul Finocchio, PJF Associates. I'm here on behalf of Rocco Sipper, who's the owner and applicant of the property. We did have our site visit last week with members of the board, and we walked the site, showing where the ditch was and also the location of the house on the property. I do have with me tonight also is John Dick, who did the delineation out there and can answer any questions regarding the center line of the brook, of the intermittent stream and its bank, if there's any questions on that.
Anybody have any questions regarding the delineation?
The only thing I said is you didn't show top of bank, that's all.
Yep.
And your 100 feet would start at top of bank, not center of brook. I don't care. It's not gonna make any difference.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's very well, it's very clear, where it is. Are there any other questions from the commission regarding this?
I think the site was pretty clear.
Yeah,
So what's going to happen and how.
exactly.
We'll save the high chair for you, Bob.
Yeah, over the roof, right? It's the rope, strung over the roof there. That was interesting. 2 chairs actually that were hanging over that.
Yes.
All right, are there any questions from the public concerning this? All right, would somebody like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
We need to get a number before we close the public hearing.
Oh, we do actually, yes. Yes, good point. So yes, we will need to continue until that overnight mail actually arrives.
All right.
I'm just worried that if this thing gets continued, that you might have a difficult time getting a quorum for the next meeting. I'm just thinking about that.
Our quorum would just shrink, wouldn't it?
No,
Or
you have to,
no?
no, it's not a majority of the then serving members. I think it's a majority of it's 4.
4,
All right.
yes.
So is there any way we could, all I'm thinking is there a way to finesse this, to vote on it, subject to, contingent upon receipt of a DEP file number? Or is that really,
Why do you think there won't be a quorum?
do you think there'll be 4 people the next meeting?
I think so.
Okay.
I will not be at the next meeting.
Right.
Well,
Well, we don't ruin it.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but okay, so it sounds like there's no quorum. There isn't gonna be a next meeting.
Well, if
Unless-
there's.
Oh, no,
If
unless,
we get if somebody gets appointed,
Eleanor was appointed.
she was, okay.
oh, she was?
Yes, so that'll be
Okay.
4.
But can she vote on this since she hasn't been on the board?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, all these things, Paul. There's a
can-
way.
But the 3 could vote. As long as they have a quorum for the meeting, then the 3 could vote.
Right.
Okay.
Right, we just have to make sure that all 4 are present. Which is all we would actually have at that point.
But who would make up that 4? It
Yeah, there's
sounds
no
like
4.
only 3,
Right.
Well, Eleanor would be the 4th, but,
Ken.
and,
but Paul wouldn't be there.
right, but Ken would be.
Ah,
Ken, Haley, Jimmy, and Eleanor would be the 4th.
Yeah, we're down from 7 to 4, then we'll go up to 5 with. so
With
we can-
Eleanor. Right.
Yeah, with Eleanor. Okay, I'm sorry, I just wanted to bring it up. I didn't want to. I
Good
didn't want
point, Bill.
a headache for a footfall on the,
Yeah, I mean, there should be a DEP file number by then.
I hope.
If not, there's a bigger problem. All right, so Paul will continue this
Okay.
till Tuesday, May 7th.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
thanks, Paul.
All right, we do have some time before 7:30. There is some other business listed on the agenda. Elaine, I see 313-599-53 Court Street, request for a certificate of compliance.
Yeah. So, yes. I received a drawing and photographs on that, and a statement from the town engineer that it had been installed as per the design.
All right, so
And-
everything was good on your end?
What?
Everything was good on your end?
Yeah.
All right, would somebody like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 53 Court Street?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Haley,
Yes,
Jim,
Yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes,
Teresa,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. All right, Elaine, I do see you also have beaver management policy on the agenda.
Yes. So that's on the agenda because at the last meeting, you wanted some information to make a policy going forward. So I sent everything I could find on beaver management with the idea that you could make your decisions based on this information. And one of the things Judy mentioned that I thought was a good idea was a joint meeting with the Board of Health. That wasn't decided at the last meeting, but I think that, like Judy, I think that would go a long way towards having a joint and complete policy.
yeah, because I think if you read that, you're talking about the beavers?
Yes,
Yeah, we definitely should see if we can meet with them because according to that paperwork from the state, it's with the beavers, you're not supposed to be killing the beavers. You're supposed to be
the prosecution. The gag order is a separate issue that Trump will have.
Jim, I think that's when it's outside of trapping season though, too, right? Isn't that the idea?
You know, I don't remember what it said about. It probably is, so that would make sense.
Yeah, right. I think that's kind of the idea behind the health department being involved.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it all right here, but we can go through it and set up an appointment with them, because I don't think they should be. And we're supposed to be breaching the dams, not totally destroying them unless the grade, unless the surrounding grades or the resources themselves need the water up higher. But it explains it in this thing, I thought, very well, and I don't think we're quite doing it the right way.
No.
Yeah, so I think that's a great idea to have a meeting.
Yeah, it did say to slowly breach to let the water level down, a gradual pace instead of just opening it up and, you know, cascading downstream.
Yep, and that's what we do. So that is how it's done. So they don't just rip everything out. It's done by hand, and they notch and get lower to lower it down in a slow manner. They can't. I mean, that would be a problem. Just a huge pulse of water letting go. So.
Yeah, breaching. And they talk about how you trap them and how you relocate them. Yeah, this is very good. Interesting. Very good.
Yeah, there's good information about the beaver deceivers in there too, or the water leveling devices, which I know cannot always be used or in not every circumstance, but
Yeah, typically I'm not a huge fan of those because you're keeping your floodplain full of water in that case, right? So that's kind of the idea, so it depends on the situation. I think there's some situations where they work, some where they don't. Just my Concord experience, we had a big flat area where we installed 2 beaver deceivers, and essentially the whole floodplain just stayed flooded and still became a problem for folks.
You have to maintain them too, Bill.
Oh, I know. No, we were maintaining them, but it still has an elevation to it, so it's giving a depth and holding back water.
But all right, so if you read what they talk about with how you determine what this is why conservation is supposed to go out there and look at it, because we should be making the judgment based on how we feel it's working with the resources.
Okay.
So let's make that appointment and get that done.
all right, so somebody will coordinate.
I'll take care of that. I'll talk to the director of the Board of Health and ask to be put on an upcoming agenda.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Elaine. All right, do we have any other business? We do have about 15 minutes before our next hearing.
Can I ask if the finance?
Isn't there in this Wetlands Protection Act that something that talks about a quorum? I thought there was something in here about.
There is.
I'm not sure we're doing this right. I can't find it though. But someone else might know.
We have a quorum. I don't understand what the problem is. What do you need? What is this for?
Because we want to make sure that we got
for the next
signed off. So if we can do a quorum now, well, we can't because we don't have a file number. So if it's next week, it comes into that.
But Jim, we were just talking about this. There'll be 4 people here next time.
No, I just want to make sure if I saw it in writing, I feel a lot better about it. So
okay.
Yeah, I know we've looked it up before.
Right.
Okay, it's not in the definitions of the oddly enough, they don't put it in there.
Is it in the statute that authorized the establishment of conservation commissions? It's 40.
Unless you want to find it in the statute. But I'm looking through the regs here in the definition section.
When they expanded from 5 to 7, not just us, but there was other commissions or boards too. I think that's where it was stated the definition of a quorum and all that would be 4.
I know it's in the Conservation Commission Act. If you look that up. I bet
Yeah,
you-
it's in the act. That's exactly where it is, Jimmy.
You get the wording there, Teresa?
Yeah, there is. It's chapter.
What are you looking up?
It's chapter 40, section 8C.
What's it say? Can you look it
Mass
up?
General Laws, chapter 40, section 8C.
And does it define a quorum?
Yeah, I have something from Mullen if you want to see it.
That's where I think we had got it.
Sure,
before.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bill, you want to share?
Yep, doing it now. Give me 1 sec. Oop, you gotta enable
Yeah.
it for me.
Go ahead. You're good
Okay.
now.
Dokes. You folks see that?
It's coming.
Okay.
Here it is.
Yeah, so I asked Mullen just to make sure all this was going to work and the transition and how things would work. So basically, he said that it can go down to 4 if there's a 7-person quorum, but if it reduces to say 4 members, then it could be 3. So the business doesn't stop necessarily in between as long as you have the 3 for say you knock down to 4 members, you need to have 3 for a quorum to continue. That's Tom's.
Right, yeah, and I think
That's Tom's understanding. Yep. So
let's
But
see.
it,
Reduced to 4.
So because I was asking about the Mullins form and how all that stuff would work too. So keep in mind, obviously, if somebody's not here that needed to see something, they can sign and miss 1 meeting. So that whole deal comes part of it too.
So if there were 4 members, but only three can attend a public hearing and vote, since that would be a majority.
No, of
The
the
members-
Members then in office. yeah.
right.
You got it right, exactly. You got it.
You don't need a majority of the 7 to have a quorum, right? The majority of
No.
right.
Of whatever's
Exactly.
left, of whatever's
Right.
left. Yeah, because my concern, I thought the same thing. So yeah, I asked him just to make sure there wasn't going to be an issue.
So I guess to take that one step further, 4 members would be required to continue to have a commission.
Right.
If
Yes.
it dropped to 3, it would no longer be a conservation commission.
I
Right.
think it's in the member. No, I think he says that it would. Let's say it could meet with just 3 members, and it could be approved on a 2-to-1 vote. So he was just saying if it reduced. I think because that's what my question was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reduces to 4. So I think if it goes to 3, it's the members that are there, right? So the
So
members
if
that are
there's
still
3
active.
present,
And-
Right, 3
Yeah.
present, but there has to be 4 appointed.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has to be 4 point. He didn't say that. He said if
Oh.
if the commission
Oh.
reduces to 4, that's a situation. Because that's what I was asking. So if it reduces to 3, I can follow up with them on that if that's the question. But I think it's just whoever's whoever's on the board. I mean, the work doesn't stop necessarily, right? So I think the minimum you'd have to have is potentially 3, so you could have a 2-to-1 vote. That's
We'll
how-
have 5.
Yeah, so I think you guys have no issues.
Yeah, may not have all 5 present or even 4 present, but
Gotcha.
looks like we're covered.
Cool. All right. Happy to help. So there we go. I feel happy to be on so early. This is good.
You just
Glad we
filled 5-6 minutes for us.
I figured I had a couple of filings coming, so I wanted to make sure we weren't gonna have an issue. So
Lane, do you have anything else for other business?
No, not if it's not on the agenda. I do not.
Okay. Judy, do you have anything for other business?
If you want to choose a date for the dinner, the last supper.
You make it sound so tired, Judy.
It has to be after Paul is back from his world tour.
When are you, Paul, back? Paul, when are you
I'm
back?
back on this, I'm back late on the night of the 7th of May. So unfortunately, I won't be able to attend the May meeting because I'll be flying home. The May 7th meeting. So sometime after May 7th, I guess, would be my suggestion.
So, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at chapter 40, section 8C, which it says the commission shall consist of not less than 3 nor more than 7 members.
Not less than 3.
Right.
Yep. So you can go to 3.
So again, I'll send you this link to chapter 40C. Chapter 8, I'm sorry, section 8C of chapter 40 that establishes the Conservation Commission. Anyway, so after May 7th, what day of the week is better for people? Sorry.
You want to do Wednesday again? I want to check with Rebecca too, but maybe the 15th.
The 15th. A Wednesday, that works for me.
Yeah, it's fine for me too.
I have no idea what time I'll be out of work. I'm sorry.
So
Is
what time
Wednesday-
does it start?
6.
6 o'clock. And you'll let us know where?
Yeah, we'll just do Burton's again. That worked out.
Okay.
I'll send around an invite.
Thank you.
What day is it? I'm sorry.
So
May
Wednesday,
15th.
May 15th.
Monday. Got it. Perfect. Wait.
May 15, Wednesday.
Wednesday. Wednesday.
Hold on, I'll give you a week to recover from any jet lag.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Could have done on Zoom.
It's only 6 hours, not
24.
not 18.
What's next?
Judy, anything else?
Nope, thank you.
Judy, can I ask you, how did the finance committee vote on our budget? Do you know?
Jim went to the meeting. I don't think they voted.
They
Jim?
didn't vote. They didn't vote. They're gonna vote at their next meeting, I believe.
Yeah, so that's probably, I haven't seen it posted yet. Maybe it's this week. I think they were squaring away the town council budget. Or maybe that was the one holdup.
That was the last one they had to do. So maybe they did do them all. Bill, do you know if they've done all the budgets?
I believe so. Yeah, they definitely did ours. I want to say a while back. I mean, they're printing the warrant, so that it's got to be done by now.
Yeah, they did all the budgets. I just don't know if they voted on them all, because I know they worked on
No,
the last
But
meeting.
they'd have to vote on it in order for it to be in the warrant.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they went with the first request without, the original, not a modified one showing extra hours.
I'll double check.
And are we gonna talk about appearing at the hearing, at the town meeting?
Don't have to if you want to change it. Let Brian speak for us.
He's got 5 minutes.
Yeah, have me take all the hits, Jim, and then you can step up.
Yeah, right. That's it. That's the way to do
Used
it.
to it. You're used to it, Brian. Just roll right off by now.
It's a good strategy.
It is. I agree. I always try to go on after him whenever I can plug
Try to go
to
after
go.
me.
Yeah, always. Yeah. And people like me a lot better, I think, Brian. I don't know.
We're a Kev lawsuit.
That's it. There you go.
Judy, you said that Eleanor was appointed.
Yes, she was.
What was the date on that?
It'll be as of the 1st of May.
Yeah, when was she actually, when they vote on that?
A week ago, the
Okay.
last town council meeting.
Okay, great.
That's good.
And
Any
have-
additional applicants?
No, I was just gonna say that, they haven't been.
Any additional applicants for the position? The,
No. No,
And I haven't got anything for additional Conservation Commission applicants either.
that's what I just asked.
Oh, I thought you meant for Rebecca's position.
No, no,
I can send Sherry an email and ask her.
There's so much that still needs to be.
I think she would have sent any if she got any.
All right, we still got a few minutes left.
When you send Sherry a note, Bob, don't make a book out of it. Just get the answer and move on.
Very quick question last time. But there were no additional applicants.
Cycles, the homeowner wins that. And he just stays hot right here, just getting out in front, but keeping it fair. Double, caught that doorway. He picks up his 6th RBI, down the number 9 man, Freeman. That is one of the hardest things to see for the third base coach, too. A third base coach is blind to that when it rattles in there. And you almost
That definitely is a tough one for third base coaches, no doubt.
I did mute that. Whoever that was.
That was good.
That was Dennis Clardy.
Okay. Dennis, I did have to mute you. All right. All right, 7:30. I've got 21 to 29 Broadway Street. Raymond S. Filidi, public hearing notice of intent for the removal, capping, and repaving of existing parking lot and associated drainage improvements within the 200-foot riverfront area.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Attorney Brian McGreal on behalf of the applicants.
Good evening, Brian.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Glad to hear that. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, as I mentioned, I'm here on behalf of the applicant, the owner of the property. With me tonight is Rick Salvo from Engineering Alliance, and also Jack McKenna from Hydroterra Environmental Services. I'm going to be brief and hand it over to Rick. I just kind of wanted to set the table. What's transpiring at the property, as Rick will explain in more detail, is this is kind of the final phase of an environmental resolution with DEP that Jack McKenna has been working on. And the final resolution involves a capping and repaving of the property, which is the subject of the notice of intent. Mr. McKenna is here. I wanted him here just in case any commissioners had any questions of him, but I think it's more the work that's being out there and you know, as far as the wetlands jurisdiction is more up Rick's alley. So, oh, and Ray Felidi's on also, I just noticed, who is one of the principal owners of the property. So with that said, I'm going to hand it over to Rick. If you could take over, Rick, with your presentation on this, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, Rick Salvo with Engineering Alliance. With your permission, okay, if I share my screen here?
Yes, please do.
So I think everyone's familiar with the site. This is Wakefield Plaza. It's adjacent to number 9 Broadway, which is also owned by Mr. Felitti at the intersection of North Ave and Broadway. There's sort of a strange open ditch that's connected by a culvert on either side of the subject property that runs along the rear of the property here that by stream stats just barely qualifies as a perennial stream. It doesn't show up anywhere, but it does have a drainage area that's slightly greater than 1 square mile, which makes it qualify under the Rivers Act. So there is a 200-foot riverfront area associated with this little ditch, as well as a 100-foot buffer zone to the inland bank. The proposal, as Brian said, is to repave the existing parking lot. The footprint of the parking lot won't change. As you'll see in a minute here, we're actually going to slightly shrink it a little bit just to try to make a net improvement. Then we're also going to be making some other stormwater improvements. The way that the site drains currently, there's 2 deep sump-putted catch basins, one located over here, one located over here, which drain into a manhole, and then out through a head wall into the ditch in the back. And just to kind of show it here it is. Here's the exposed portion right here, and then it's in culverts upstream and downstream. The footprint of the pavement, like I said, is going to stay about the same. There's an area that's paved right up to the edge of the bank that really doesn't need to be paved. So we're going to be removing about a little over 1,000 square feet of pavement. Reseeding it with a wetland seed mix, that area to try to make a small enhancement. We'll also be placing a CDS water quality unit before the outlet. That will provide a significant amount of treatment. That unit in and of itself will result in about 91% TSS removal, coupled with the sumps and the catch basins. It'll get us to about 93% TSS removal, which will result in a significant improvement of the surface water. Relative to the makeup of the cap, what's going to happen is about the 4 inches of pavement that's out there will be removed. Some of the soil will likely come out with it, or at least be compacted in place. We'll be raising the site about 10 inches in the front of the site here to be able to windrow that extra material in there. That will allow us to place a geotextile layer. It also allows us to place some warning tape underneath on top of the geotextile, 6 inches of processed gravel, which is effectively the engineered barrier, and then put 3 inches of pavement back on top of that. So the grade in the rear and all around the building will stay the same. We'll be raising it in this area here, furthest from the river, just so we can keep all that material on site. During construction, the catch basins will be protected by silt sacks. We put in straw wattles around the perimeter to prevent any erosion from getting back towards that stream. So again, this kind of a twofold thing. It's just a repaving, and then that repaving exercise also acts as an engineered barrier. The same exact solution was constructed on the adjacent site at 9 Broadway, and that'll allow this site to be closed out with the DEP. So I think with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or comments. I did see the DEP issued a file number for this. I don't know if you saw that. It was 313-0639. And I didn't see any technical comments.
All right, I have a couple of questions for you. Is this what you're doing here? Is this in compliance with something that DEP has okayed? How does that work? Or are you making up this? Do they have to come back and certify this?
No, Jack, I don't know if you want to explain how that part of it works.
Yeah, no, we've submitted a plan to them, remediation plan.
Yeah.
Back about a year ago. to do this. There isn't any official approval process on their end. They leave it up to the LSP, the licensed site professional, to actually oversee it and assure that a cap is placed in place according to what we submitted as a plan. So there isn't an official, approval on their part. It is part of the MCP process, the Massachusetts contingency process, to get a final closure on the site. And that is to basically eliminate any threat or anything from the soils below, and to keep it confined and under that cap.
Okay. So where you said you're gonna put the fill, is that also a parking lot area when you're done?
Yes,
Okay, so you're just moving the grade around a little bit.
correct.
Okay. Okay.
The CDS, that's a swirl chamber separator, right?
It's hydrodynamic separator, yes.
Okay. So you're taking floatables and your sediment and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How will it work if you're raising the parking area? I mean, the building isn't being raised.
We're gonna be, what's gonna happen is, the soil that's in there will be compacted in place. The soils that are under that parking lot aren't the greatest. We expect that they're gonna compact, pretty well. The whole front portion of the site up here will be raised. The area around the building will not be raised. So
Okay.
it'll be scraped and pushed up to the front. We can't raise the grade around the building because the building already has
Right.
floor elevations and entrances and
Right.
ADA accessibility and the whole 9 yards, so.
And what's the difference in between the front and the area around the building? What's the difference in elevation?
The difference in elevation,
Yeah.
we look, so it's about a foot right now.
No, I meant after you regrade it.
It'll be probably about 1 foot 10 inches.
Between the front of where the front of the building is and the front of the parking area?
No, between the entrance point of where you pull in from Broadway and the front of the building.
Wow, that's kind of a lot.
Well, not really, because it's over 70 feet away, so.
Okay, alrighty.
Yeah, that's the building setback you can see right here is 108 feet, so.
Is that grading going to change the water flow on that
No,
lot?
our low points will stay here and here,
Okay.
just like that.
Nothing will be going out to Broadway, or will something go out to Broadway now?
No, it won't be going out to Broadway. Everything on this site pitches in towards the property. There's a high, I shouldn't say that. There's a high point right here. Now, a little bit of this right now pitches out to Broadway. And that high point will stay in the same exact location. We're not planning to change it.
Where you're taking out the 1,000 square feet of asphalt, what's getting put in place there? Is that part of the capped area? Is that
Part of the
included?
capped area, so it'll have to have the geotextile, it'll have to have the 6 inches of processed gravel, and then we'll loam, instead of putting pavement on top of that, we'll put loam down and wetland seed mix and seed it.
Okay, so is there some room in there where we could do a little bit more enhancement than that? Or is it, why are you putting the seed mix?
There's a pretty good canopy there now. We could, what were you thinking?
Something to improve the area in that space, something.
Yeah, I mean, our plan was to put the wetland seed mix and just kind of let it grow
Right.
wild and let it do its thing. But
Can you move your plan down so I can see that area?
sure. So that area is right in here. So the pavement right now.
Which line are you pointing to? Is it a solid line or the dash line?
The solid line.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
that's
so,
the
that's
pavement
something that you
area
could,
right now. So this will come out. It doesn't need to be, 28 feet wide there. 12-foot width is plenty for them to be able to get the access that they need behind that building.
Rick, if I may, Ray Felidi, good evening, members of the board. How about, now we paved, I mean, we seeded this middle, between the two buildings, after we capped that river, we used a lawn. Did you
Yeah.
like lawn better over there, or do you want, would that be better?
I want to ask for Elaine's opinion on this. Is she here still? Elaine?
Shrubbery?
Well, the thing is, you can put down a wetland seed mix. I think what Jim is heading towards is it would be a nice idea to put in some shade tolerant native bushes back there. Have I got that right, Jim?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't think that's a problem.
All right. Do you need a list or do you have one in the office?
If you want to send me a list of what Wakefield likes to see, we'd be happy to implement it.
It would be a native species list, Rick.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
What is the geotextile you mentioned a few times?
Jack, did you have anything spec'd yet for the geotech that'll go down there?
No, basically just a some sort of filter fabric. Basically, that's all that we need
Okay.
is to limit the sediment particles from going down into the soil below. And effectively, that's just, you know, a silt barrier to below. And what mainly is our concern is that 6 inches of gravel is really the thing that is going to give us the buffer and separation between that dirt below.
And the 6 inches of gravel will be on top of the geotextile.
That is,
Correct.
yes.
Yep, there'll be a geotextile, there'll be some warning tape, and then there'll be the 6 inches of process gravel.
Process
Yeah.
gravel, and then pave for that.
And 3 inches of pavement back on top, yep.
Fine.
I have a favor to ask. Can I get a copy of the resolution documents with DEP, so I have a copy of what went on with DEP for the office files?
In terms of the plans that were submitted for remediation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
I can get it to you. It is also on their website, which is, you know, public accessible. You just type in the address and it comes up on their website, but I'll get you a electronic copy of it.
Jack, if you want to forward it to me, I'll send it along.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, that's good. It'd be good to have it in the town files.
Sure.
So can I just ask you, is your plan to remediate so that it's to achieve a level of no significant risk? Is that what you're doing?
That is correct. Using the cap is the
Okay.
driving
And then-
factor to limit the risk. Yes.
And are you preparing a letter to the owner when this is all done, saying that? I know you, you know, I mean, it'd be lovely for us to have a copy of that letter.
Oh,
saying-
absolutely. A
Okay.
part of the requirement is public notification to you guys.
Okay.
So once we've done this, there'll be a completion report
Right.
and also a what they call a permanent solution for the site that will be submitted to the state. And you guys, as part of the requirement, is you will get a copy of that.
Great.
And that will essentially close it out.
That is correct. Again, how that works is, you know, once there's something that triggers it, you're in the system at DEP and forever basically. But when an LSP determines that there's no significant risk, then it gets officially closed out. And it's still, the records and all the files are still there, but it's determined that there's no significant risk and officially closed that way.
For my fellow commissioners, does this constitute a redevelopment, and do we have to go through the, you know, the criteria for a redevelopment and analyze it under those criteria?
This is a redevelopment. We're not adding any impervious surface. As a matter of fact, we're removing some impervious surface, so it's completely falls within the redevelopment standards.
Okay, so, all right, so. At some point, I'd like to walk through the
You go
standards,
through this- Yeah.
identify
so-
standards, and go through them one by one.
Right.
Is that something you're looking to do now?
Well, I don't know. What do you all think? Should we do it now or later? I thought that it would just be something that when we have a redevelopment, I just think it's always good to step back, identify what's required, and just walk through the points.
Bill, you have your hand raised?
I do, yeah. Just one heads up though. Keep in mind it is considered a level, right? So the infiltration requirements obviously go away because it's contaminated. So just keep that in mind as you're looking into that stuff for the redevelopment.
And just all I'm suggesting is that we should always follow a process when we have a redevelopment.
Oh, totally agree. Just want to make sure you folks were aware
No,
of that.
no, I
That's all.
agree.
So do you want to walk through the stormwater checklist? Is that going to be the easiest way to do it, you think?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
please.
redevelopment standards, yes.
So standard one is no new untreated discharges. And there are no new discharges being made here, and this discharge is now getting treated to a greater extent than it was before. Standard two is peak rate attenuation. We are our post-development flows are less than our pre-development flows.
I'm sorry,
because
are those the redevelopment standards?
these
No,
are the
stormwater.
DEP stormwater standards.
Which he needs to meet also.
Okay, so, okay.
Can you show us the pre and post rates,
I can.
please?
So by removing about 1,040 square feet of pavement, let's see if I can get them so you can see what we dropped from in the 2-year 2.81 to 2.67, 4.43 to 4.22, 5.45 to 5.18, and 7 to 6.67 CFS.
Okay, thank you.
Recharge standard, as we discussed, we're not adding any recharge BMPs, given the fact that this is a contaminated site. As far as water quality, we have significantly increased the TSS removal on site with the addition of water quality inlet.
And you said that was going from what to what percent TSS removal?
So, right now there's only 2 deep sump hooded catch basins on site.
Okay.
Which doesn't have what we get 25% TSS removal for the catch basins. And that's really all that's going on there. Now it's going to increase the water quality inlet itself has a TSS removal rate of 91.6%. So when you couple that with the catch basins, it goes to 93% TSS removal. So that's probably the most significant improvement that we've made.
You have an O&M plan for the swirl chamber?
We do.
Okay.
And I can get to that in a minute. So a shopping center isn't covered under the multi-sector general permit. It's not an ACEC. Is redevelopment standards. I think we just went through what we hit. most of the standards we actually comply with the exception of the recharge rate. We did provide an O&M plan, which I will get to in just a minute. If I scroll down, whoops. There's the TSS removal calculation. And here's the O&M plan. Which has an annual budget, $5,000 per year. Biannual street sweeping, parking lot sweeping, even though we didn't take credit for it in any street sweeping in the TSS removal, we are recommending that the lot now gets swept twice a year. The difference now is the O&M plan obviously gets kept track of and gets submitted to the town of Wakefield annually to the DPW with a copy to the Conservation Commission. We have a spill prevention plan and then long-term O&M plan with O&M log.
Does the CDS unit have like a standard manhole cover?
Yes. It gets vacuumed out. Can't use a clamshell in there because of the setup of it, but it can be cleaned with a vac truck.
Okay. So the same time they do the catch basins, they would just hit that unit.
Correct.
All right, any questions about the notice of intent or the calculations?
I would like to see if we could get a cross section across that ditch. And I'm trying to picture what that looks like and how it can be vegetated.
Where it's going to be vegetated is going to be up on the flat here, not on the bank.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't want to destabilize that bank. It's pretty stable as it is, so.
I wouldn't want you to touch the bank if you don't have to. I'm just curious to get a section on it to see what it looks like on both sides with the brook in the middle and the banks on both sides and closest distance to the building. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, it's got, probably 1.5 to 1 side slopes. It's about 5 feet deep.
I know, but it would be nice to have a record of that. So that's my thought, anyways. We're gonna look at this, or is everyone okay with this?
We could schedule a site walk. Looks like we may have some others coming up that we'd want to schedule. Got plenty of daylight in the evenings now.
Yeah.
Weekends. We could do it, combine it with a breakfast. I know just right place.
We won't be voting on it, Peter.
I know, but we could always look at it and have breakfast.
Oh.
Yeah, so I guess Jim and well, Paul will be around. Well, be around a little bit. Haley, really whatever you guys want to do for a site walk.
That stream shows up on the Google map.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it goes under the junior high school and makes its way under Shaw's.
Yep, across Foundry Street.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if I may, I respectfully ask the commission to consider if a site walk's really needed for this. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. As we've said, we're happy to cooperate with whatever the commission wants planted there. And time is somewhat of the essence here. This is somewhat of a complicated project. They have tenants in existence there. So we've got good weather months coming. We've really got to coordinate this and move as quick as possible. I mean,
The site visit will be before the next meeting, Brian, so the commission isn't gonna vote on this, I don't think, tonight, are we?
I was hoping for that, but that's your call.
Well, I mean, theoretically, we could close it tonight if we wanted. But then, three of us won't be around for the next meeting. I don't think we'll have time
Well, why don't we just
to consider conditions tonight with the agenda we have in front of us. It's up to, I guess, Jim, Haley, and Paul.
I mean, I can go by and look at it myself. So I'm just curious about what it looks like back there, that's all.
I mean, we have obviously
Not-
been there before, not very recently, but we were across the street not too long ago, and we've been to this site, before in the past. Personally, I'm okay if we do close the hearing, but if you want to keep it open, Jim. Is the only information that's been requested so far is a cross-section. Right? And we will provide suggested plantings.
Right, they're gonna do the plantings that we would like.
With what we, give for recommendations.
Well, if you're not gonna,
Right,
what's,
I don't
what's
have a
the,
problem.
what's the point of closing it if you're not gonna vote on it tonight? And did we talk about the redevelopments? Yeah. Water standards.
We
We
didn't go
cannot
through those requirements. Just went through the stormwater and the notice of intent. I will say it's 7:59 and we do have a number of hearings scheduled. So whatever we're gonna do, we need to decide now. So continue or close. Either way, we're not probably talking about conditions tonight. We close, can't take any more information, obviously.
And then at the next meeting, if you didn't close it tonight, you would close the meeting and then issue and go.
And votes. It doesn't save any time to close the meeting
Right,
tonight.
today, yeah.
And if Jim's gonna drive by and look at the site, it just seems, it just seems like it's counterproductive. It doesn't accomplish anything to close the meeting. It doesn't save time to close the meeting tonight versus if it's not gonna be voted on.
Right, we're not gonna go through the order of conditions tonight, so.
So it sounds like the consensus is to continue. And those who want to visit the site can do so.
I'd be happy to meet anyone over there if it helps.
Thank you, Rick. Jim, do you want to schedule something or with Rick or just go on your own or same with Haley and Paul?
Haley, you gonna look at this?
Yeah, I can go with you.
Paul,
When do you want to go?
are you still gonna be here or not?
I leave midday tomorrow.
Okay. All right, so it's just me and Haley and maybe Ken. Yeah, I'm gonna just I'll just call Haley and meet her down there.
All right, do you want to arrange anything with Rick or just take a look on your own?
No, I'm just gonna take a look on my own. I just want to see what it looks like back there, that's all.
Okay.
I want to basically see that you can put something out there like I'm thinking, not just,
Yeah, that area is flat back there, so
Yeah.
it's definitely plantable. It's above the bank. Right now, it's part of the paved surface, so
Okay.
it's definitely a plantable surface. Once we remove the pavement.
Jim, if you decide you want us to be out there, just let me know. We're happy to meet you, to walk up with you.
Yeah, you say, okay, I can call you if you want, but
Yeah. No, you don't
seriously.
have to. I just want to make us available. If you
Yeah.
determine it would be helpful, that's all.
Okay,
Not
Or if you got out there and you got questions,
Yeah.
that's fine. Just let us know. We can move out there quick.
Yeah.
Elaine,
Okay.
have you taken a look at it yet?
Yes, I was out there last Friday.
Okay. With the elevations on that area with the plantings, is something wetlands even feasible?
If you take out that square footage and you put in some clean soil, I think you could put some shrubs in there, yeah,
Okay.
or some other kind of native species. Yes, I do. I think it's possible.
All right, so we'll rely on your expertise to offer some suggestions. We'll keep the hearing open, and those commissioners that want to take a walk will coordinate among themselves.
just on one other question, is there a curbing gonna be there, or is it just gonna flow across the paved area onto the dirt?
There's no curbing there now, and we're not planning to put a curbing there.
Okay. All right,
Was there
Jim,
any questions?
if I could just ask you, Jim, do you still want a cross section? Because I don't want to lose time if you do want it.
I
Or do you wanna
don't,
get back to us
I
after
don't need the cross section if, as long as I can go out there and see it, I guess I'm okay to just go look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Were there any questions from the public on this? All right. All right, well, thank you, Rick and Brian. And this will be continued to May 7th.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, next up, we have 301 Edgewater Drive. Hobbsburg Real Estate, public hearing, request for determination of applicability, curb repair and associated slope stabilization within 100 feet, buffer to a Class A wetland. Is the applicant here?
Yes, good evening.
Hello, Libby.
Libby,
Good to see you all, a long time. For the record, I am Elizabeth Wallace, wetland scientist from Hayes Engineering, representing the applicant. With me this evening are Emily Verga, the general manager of the Edge Office Park, and Kevin O'Connell, the facilities manager. We're before you this evening with a roadway curb repair project. If I may share my screen, I will orient you to the location.
Yes, please do.
Can everybody see this? This is a
Yes, thank you.
okay. The locus is pretty much halfway between the rear of 201 Edgewater and the garage at 301 Edgewater. And this is Edgewater Place connecting through here. This is the marsh over here and retention pond over to the left. So basically, what we're proposing is to to put the curbing back in and make repairs to the side slope. Let me show you some photos here. So basically, this is the edge of the marsh with the BVW at the bottom of the slope. This is the edge of the roadway here. And the curbing has become dislodged due to turtle nest digging and washing of the soil material during rainstorms. The basic project will be to repair the broken edge of the roadway, reinstall the dislodged curbing in this area here. They'll be installed within a layer of concrete to really solidify and stabilize those pieces of curbing. Further down the slope will be regrading of the slope to fill in the holes, repair the eroded areas. There will be a thin apron of crushed stone right along the back of the curbing to protect it from turtle digging and erosive washing of stormwater. And then the bottom will be a erosion control wattle right at the base of the slope there. After all the work is done, the slope will be smoothed out with loam, and will be seeded with a native seed mix, and it will be left with a biodegradable straw matting to keep the slope in place. There won't be any netting, just because we're afraid that the turtles will get entangled. The matting will eventually dissipate, and they'll be able to resume nesting activities after this is done. But
how long will it take for that to degrade?
A very good question. I believe that it will take about a year or two. I mean, I'm not an expert on this sort of matting, but typically it goes away after a year or two.
How long do you think this work would take, Libby? A couple of days?
I would think a couple of days. Kevin, are you on the call?
Hi, Libby. It's Emily Verga. I think Kevin is on, but I believe it should take just a few days.
Yeah, I would imagine in just a couple days. This is only 32 feet long, so it's a very small area. I'm gonna switch to some actual photographs of it.
When is the work proposed to be done?
We'd like to get it done as soon as possible, just to avoid conflicts with the turtles.
Yeah, because you're talking May, June, right? For
That's
nesting.
right. That's right. And we're hoping to get to the repairs as soon as possible.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I was just having some technical difficulties. Good evening. My name is Kevin O'Connell, and I'm the Chief Engineering Manager of Hobbsbrook. Yeah, we're going to do minimal impact to the side of the embankment. And basically, as far as that matting is concerned, you'll get, I would say, about 8 months out of it. But what it does is it allows the seed mats. It allows the natural seed flowers or vegetation to get in there and root nice and thoroughly. But in the process during mating season, where the turtles are getting more active here in the next couple of months, this stuff, even though it's all organic, it's pretty tough stuff. So the turtles aren't going to want to really bother with it too much, where they want to nest. But after that time period, everything fills back in. It'll be as natural as it was before we touched it. It'll look a lot better, of course.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This happens to be something I want to really look at. Are you working in the bank resource?
Pardon me?
Are you
No,
working?
we're not even, where she's got the red line, the limit of work.
Yeah,
Other than other than we're gonna put the straw baffles just in case anything runs down the hill into the water. We're gonna be not even that far out. We just want to be we would just want to be up next to the curbing to re-anchor it back to the roadway and pack behind it
Right.
is what
But it looks like-
what our goal is.
yeah, this is the buffer zone. This is
Yeah.
the BVW down here, and this is
Mhm.
the buffer zone here.
But yeah,
Most of the work will be up by the street. They'll be doing a narrow trench along the pavement.
yeah.
Concrete.
Were those granite stones standing at one time, or were they always laying flat?
Oh
No, they were up before. They were at like I want to say a 30-degree angle.
You can see the curbing, natural curbing here. The
Yeah.
in good condition.
You know, because I consider this habitat, and the turtles are there for a reason. I don't know why. Is this the only place there's turtles, or is this where they all come?
Oh no, there's many areas. The turtles nest. We've got quite a few tower turtles out there. You know, we're very mindful of when they're crossing the street and everything else. So we've got no shortage of turtles.
Yeah,
And they nest freely around the property, as well as the geese and swans and all the other. It's people love walking around the park. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, our concern is that the erosion on the slope, the side slope, the roadway side slope, is not only affecting the curbing, which controls the water, storm water flowing off the roadway, but impacting the roadway pavement itself. The roadway pavement is starting to crack.
Yeah, over the years, the turtle's been digging in the bank, and it's going to eventually it'll undermine that road. There's always a few cracks up in the middle. It will eventually undermine that road. And,
I'm just surprised
Right, especially this area here.
you can see the holes, right?
I know, I see the holes.
So won't the turtles come back after you do this work? How you can't really prevent that, can you?
Well, yeah, because if we pack the back siding with some gravel, with some gravel and the concrete to anchor up to shore up the curbing, it won't allow the water to penetrate underneath it. It'll run off the side of the hill, if not further down the road, rather than what is happening now is it's coming down where the curbing is fallen of sunken down. It's getting in between. What's going is the water, instead of the water just dripping and running straight off, it's going underneath the pavement. So it's just going to continue to undermine it. If we get that shored up,
But let me ask you something. Isn't this a function of the curbing itself that's the problem, not so much the turtles? But if the curbing was up on edge instead of sloped, wouldn't that do better to hold the water back?
well, yeah, we're gonna set it up at a you know at the proper angle, but we want to pack behind it as well. We
Well,
don't
that's
want it to.
fine. I understand that, but what size is that curbing? 18 inches?
Yeah, well, it varies. It varies. 18 inches, 22 inches. You know, it's rock.
What I'm trying to understand is if you're really solving the problem. Is the problem really that the drainage is eroding the soil underneath the curbing, or is it actually the turtles? And it looks like the turtles are further down the bank than.
Well, you're seeing it from that angle, but before the erosion took place. Yeah, before the erosion took place, there were holes closer up to the road. It's just over many, many years. It's finally just, we've had quite a bit of rain too. I mean, we're all sick of the rain. We've had a ton of rain this year.
But
last year.
I'm under the impression that this isn't something that happened recently, that it's been happening and getting worse over the years.
Yeah, over the years, many years, sure.
Yeah, so I want to take a look at this and understand this a little bit more before I do much talking.
Yeah, I'd be happy to meet with you anytime.
I have a question on this curb. When you're finished with it, how is the curb going to actually look, and is it going to stop or disincentivize the turtles from going up and over and into the road?
Well, I mean, I'm not a turtle, so I don't know how eager they want to be, but I mean, when once those eggs start hatching, or listen, I have turtles that'll come up all the way in some of the back of my parking lots. And if there's a pile of mulch there, they're digging in that and laying eggs.
Yeah, you look
And then
for
we
any
then we have
soft
to leave the
spots.
mulch there. So, they go wherever they want to go.
Yeah,
Is that
we're-
what is that? Is that a control box of some type there?
No, it's a rock.
Oh, wow.
no, it's a flat slab of stone.
Okay.
It's not part of the curbing. It's just it's just a piece of
It almost looked like it was green in that picture right there. I was wondering.
yeah. It
if
looks
it's
like a piece of
cable
old
box
slate.
or electrical box. Yeah. Okay.
No,
Yeah, you
it's
can
not.
see it
Yeah,
better
it's just a
here.
rock.
Yeah. Okay.
Bluestone.
Wow. So this is an RDA, just to remind the commissioners. So really the question is, would this or could this result in an alteration to the wetland, the work being proposed? It looks like if they don't do anything, we will have an alteration.
To
We've
the
already
bank.
started to potentially. So remember, it is an RDA.
So what is the question, Bob?
I'm just stating that's a request for determination of applicability. So the question you need to ask is, could this or would this result, this work result in an alteration
And the answer is yes, though, right?
to the resource area? Well, it's an alteration that's occurring if nothing's done, for sure, right?
Don't forget
But the actual work, would the work result? Or
They're
could it
on the
result?
bank, Bob. They're on a bank. They're
Yes.
not on the
No, they
BVW.
are not on.
They're on the bank. They're on the, they're
This
up,
is the
they're
buffer.
outside of the, they're in the buffer zone. It's a buffer zone project.
Well, bank is a resource, Bob.
Yep.
So if they're in the bank, they're.
Well, are they,
I want to be half that buffer zone that you got right there. If not a little less, we don't want.
That's why I need to see it.
okay. You want to schedule something, Jim?
What?
Want to schedule?
Yeah, schedule something, yeah.
You have any dates, and would you like anybody from the applicant side to be there?
Absolutely. I'll work my schedule around for your convenience.
I can be there as well.
Yep, I'll be there as well.
All right, so
Pick a date and stuff, and I can be there whenever.
all right, so you want to work that out?
Are you guys going, or are you
Um,
guys done?
Haley's schedule is probably the one that you need to work with.
We can just do a little road trip, hit all of our spots at once, Jimmy.
Do you want, can we set a date then?
Yeah.
Hey, Haley, what's the date when you can go?
What are you doing Friday? Does that work?
Yep. Love Fridays.
Friday afternoon?
Yep. And
Okay.
someone, Elaine.
Like somebody at Libby or somebody to be there also, or?
Yeah, if they want to. I don't
I will definitely be there.
I'll be there as well. Do you know about what time in the afternoon you might be there?
Up into,
I don't have any, I can, anytime you just want to do it.
is it your city state? Yeah.
What works on your guys' end?
Sounds like Jimmy's pretty wide open.
Well, someone do this, someone figure out where they want, what time they want to do it.
Does 2 or 3-ish work?
Okay, 2 or 3-ish, which is it? 2 or 3?
Pick one.
I'm asking
2
them,
o'clock.
like, does one
2 o'clock.
better than the other?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, we'll do it 2 o'clock on Friday.
Sounds
can
good.
you get that email to us, so I got it in my, on my
You want
phone?
to take my phone number?
Not really. 2 o'clock on Tuesday, on Friday. So you
Friday,
gotta-
okay.
Lane, send that out as a notice to us, all right?
Judy, I won't be in the office till Friday. Can you send it out, Judy?
I'll send it right now.
Thank you.
So it'll be the
Okay.
19th at 2 p.m.
All right.
Jim, do you want me to be there?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, I do.
All right, any other questions concerning this?
Nope, I think it'll make better, it'll make better sense to put your eyes on it.
All right, is there any, are there any questions from the public regarding this? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. All right, so you'll see some of the commission there Friday at 2 p.m.
Well, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, we do have a few minutes before our next hearing at 8:30.
Are you gonna get together at all to develop a plan for town meeting?
It was just
Or are you just gonna wing it when you get there?
She's talking to you, Jim.
I didn't hear what you said. I wasn't listening. What'd you say?
The town meeting, are you gonna make a plan for making the motion for the full-time position or?
We should.
Yeah, we'll have to. You want to do a plan right now?
No, but I think you should get, I mean, it's coming up fast,
When is it?
a week from Monday.
April 29th.
29th.
We have to, we have to find out where we are on the warrant.
Well, they do the budgets at the beginning, so I would think you'd put it in there.
Yeah, I sent an email about the process. So someone has to, we have to notify the town moderator in advance to let him know, just to give him a heads up that we're gonna be doing this, and someone has to be prepared to speak and make a motion and say that the motion is to increase the budget by $24,090, which is the number that Rebecca had given us, to allow for a conservation agent to have 30 hours in addition to the 5 hours we have for Elaine. Then the moderator will recognize the person speaking. Then the person speaking has to be prepared to say why they want it, and then he'll entertain other people from the audience, and we just have to have more people voting for it than against it
Yeah, that would help.
in order to pass.
So would speaking, like when you go up and you speak, would that be essentially reading the letter that went to the FinCom?
Right.
It's the same information, right? Even if we adjust it slightly.
Yes. Yes. After after you say what you want to do, that you want to increase the budget, and then I would agree, Haley, that the letter really speaks to why we want to do it. And then other people can speak too, the public can speak, but we should have a plan of who it is that's going to be speaking. And again, I will, Town Mullen gave me the town, I can contact the town moderator, let him know that, just to give him a heads up. So do we have any volunteers to speak?
Well, what about you?
I am not the best public speaker, but I will do it.
You gotta be better than me.
I think you're great.
Yeah, I think you are too. I think you can do it. Probably next turn, go. I'll be right there
You
with
can
you.
lawyer them into agreeing.
Right. I hope it's the first day, because after April 30th, I won't be a member anymore. But any person anyone of the public can speak. So,
I'm sorry, when is the
a week from Monday.
29th at 7 o'clock, the middle school.
What time's the next hearing?
8:30.
Tonight, 8:30. Yeah.
So are all of you bringing spouses and
Yes.
sisters brothers.
Yes, we have to stock the audience with Wakefield registered voters.
Yeah.
Yep, my husband's coming.
If it starts at 7 o'clock, what does that mean? How long does it last for? A couple days? Or
How
just-
long? Yeah, absolutely.
Could be a couple of days, yes.
Could be a couple of days.
But it's
So that
the
means you
budget,
have
the
to go-
budget's the first one.
We're
Or
not
second
be-
one. Yeah.
But Bill, we're not going to be first. We're going to be probably at the end.
What do you mean?
Conservation Commission budget.
No. No, the whole town budget's like Article 1 or 2. It's the whole town's budget. It's not, they don't
Take
go,
each individual line item.
he'll talk on it briefly, just kind of overview by general service type thing that it is. So like Public Works is its own standalone, but that incorporates engineering, water, sewer, drain, all that stuff.
Again, we're going to.
Yeah, so you're one of those budgets, that they
Yeah.
speak about. Probably like human services or something. I don't know, something to that effect.
What would come up? You think it would come up on Monday night?
You'd definitely come up Monday night. That's when the budget would be done.
Okay.
So,
Okay, one Tuesday.
so you'd be wanting to make a motion there, and then you'd want to, you also have to identify where you're getting the money from too. So just keep all that stuff in mind.
Well, we're not going to identify where we're getting the money from, Bill. We don't know that.
Well, you got to figure it out. That's otherwise I can tell you that it wouldn't be a successful motion. So
From the town. Is that
from
not?
the you have to
correct?
tell the account, you have to look at the accounts. You might want to do a little due diligence on that stuff before you get up there. Yeah, if you're doing any type of motion that requires funding, you have to determine how the funding is, whether it's from free cash, whether it's from, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
So there's things behind it. I mean, you may want to talk to the moderator ASAP just to make sure he's aware of it, and he can probably give you better direction on it. I since I've been here, there hasn't been a motion on budgets at all, and I would say even in my 15 years in Concord, there wasn't one. So it's not too common. So I'd try to stay ahead of it. Just trying to let you know so you're prepared. That's all.
Jim, Rebecca said to me that Kevin Gill was very helpful.
Yeah.
God, he would be. You can.
Kevin,
That's a good call.
Yeah. Okay. Is it time yet?
Almost.
Yeah, Kevin can help you probably with the account. I'd imagine he'd be able to tell you where it
Yeah,
should come from.
right.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yep.
All right. Where's Bob?
Right here, Jim. Waiting for 8:30 to happen. We're at 8:29 and
8:29.
so many seconds.
No. Oh, these dead spots are killers.
Following the rules. All right, we have 8:30. Bill, do you have a file number?
We do. It came in today. We got both of them. Tim, do you have those by any chance off the top?
The file number is 640. And for North Ave, it's 641.
Okay. All right, so first up, 8:30, we have Quarter Parkway, Town of Wakefield, public hearing, notice of intent for the reconfiguration of existing roadway and replacement and expansion of the existing underground infiltration system within 100 foot of a wetland.
Yep.
And Bill, you are here to talk about that.
Yeah, let me jump in. So just first to give you some orientation here, let me share my screen. Here we go. Can you see my Google map?
It's on the way.
That's not good.
Here it is.
Hey, welcome on. We're going to be changing, so hopefully I might end up using this whole half hour. All right, so the last development that was completed for Quinnipiac 200, 300 is kind of this parcel here. As part of that approval, the town negotiated to have improvements made within Quinnipiac Parkway and to be funded by the developer. As part of that discussion, though, we agreed that Public Works would actually propose the cross section to be used and the improvements that would be necessary and permanent with you folks. So that's why I'm here before you. Looking at the two areas that are considered the off-site improvements, starting from North Ave going towards the 200, 300 parcel. This is the first leg, and then we also have the second leg once it gets off the main parcel, going towards Lowell on this side. So let me jump to some presentation plans I have. Stop that and share the next one. That would be this guy. All right, so we're going to start over on the North Ave side. So looking at my screen, North Ave is located, you can see my cursor over here moving around. Okay, so North Ave is here to the left of the screen. The proposal is to add in within the same existing footprint of the pavement, basically just repurpose the pavement itself. So we would have a sidewalk that would be on the northern side. We would have the two lanes, the turn lane and the straight lane. We would have one lane going inbound, and then we would widen out the sidewalk to be a uniform, well, actually, I shouldn't say uniform, it's 10 to 12 feet for a shared use path. So widen that out to help for folks that want to bike and want to walk and stroll, do all that stuff. So as part of this, well, obviously with the reconfigurations, we need new curbing, new different pieces to be installed. Currently what we have is essentially direct discharges to the lake on this whole stretch. So we have basically in the locations of the sidewalks, there's a 4-inch pipe that extends water into the lake. They get clogged, all the sediment and the gunk just flows right into the lake. So part of this is that we looked at is to make sure that we could enhance the treatment prior to getting in there, and then also look to enhance the only stormwater treatment piece, which is a small infiltration basin that's shown here in the pink. So this has been increased in size by some feet just to allow us to maximize how much that we could get into the ground. It has essentially a bubbling overflow that would follow the same path that it does today. What ends up happening is it breaks out through a crushed stone section and flows into this wetland area. That's the lighter blue is a wetland area that's adjacent to the lake. And then we're also proposing a couple of they're called Fox. Let me see what the name is actually. It's a new brand that I'm looking to use here. Tim, feel free to hop in so I'm not struggling here.
Yeah, so it's the Rain Guardian Foxhole.
There we
It's
go.
a trench drain style of structure.
Right, so I'll pull up what that looks like as I'm bopping between screens before I go down the rest of the road. So taking a look at what this guy looks like. So this is an example of one that's installed and some detail that shows it. Oh, did I get to the right one? All right, so if you can see, basically this is kind of the idea. So we have a very low profile with the roadway today and the kind of the raised curb for the walkway. So we found this system, which actually works very well. Normally to install a pipe, we would need a lot more elevation difference to be able to get like a full-size pipe to get the discharge going and moving through. So this is a kind of it's a system that allows water to enter in through this grate, through a media portion. And then we have a horizontal media that goes across. So it's essentially acts as a media filter that goes in. Literature says it gets 80%. Realistically, I'm not sure if it gets that, but I can tell you it's better than what we have today, which is essentially nothing. We did evaluate in this area, trying to find and use a bioretention area because we have a little bit of slope before it gets to the wetlands and to the lake. As we went through 7 or 8 different versions of that, we realized that we really just don't have the room to fit it. So we landed on this as our improvement area to be able to get some additional treatment. We also looked at let me jump back to my main screen. I know I'm jumping around a lot, folks. I won't be doing that for the second one. Going right here. So we looked at several different ways to make this work. In areas where the water doesn't get to a scupper, it just flows right over the the sidewalk and flows directly into the lake or the wetlands. So our first stretch here, we have two of these discharges that would today basically just flows right over into the wetland and then into the lake. Then we move to the other side. So we're breaking at an existing culvert that we've evaluated and looked at. This since initially was an inlet to the lake back in the 30s. This was all reconfigured, and this turned into more of like a dam overflow as a secondary overflow for the lake. That's what it is today. So we're stopping essentially right at the limit of the property line for 200, 300. Looking to the other side, as I load up. There, this is loading up. There we go. Can you see this section?
Yes.
See the roadway? Okay, good. All right, let me get you a little bit more room so you can see the whole street. Come on.
Is the blue the 100-year flood elevation?
Blue is not the 100-year flood. So our 100-year flood is being shown as red on this. So you have the blue right here. You mean this little line, the blue line?
No, this
Yeah.
big massive blue section.
No, that's actually so this is wetlands, and then this is the lake itself. Let me try to pull this back up. It's not coming up for some reason. Not coming up. Running into technical difficulties. Close some screens. See if I can get this to go. Sorry, folks, about this. Good news is I have a good amount of time. All right, this isn't going to let me do it, right? Let's see if I try this other plan. I'll go to just the regular plans. So looking at well, my run through this went a lot smoother. Let's go to this page 2. Is that gonna work for me? No. Okay. So what I'll do, let me just jump back to the larger so basically from this section through here, if you recall back, I want to say 3-4 years
It's
ago.
not being shown, Bill.
I'm
Oh,
not
it's not?
seeing anything, Bill.
Oh, sorry. Thanks, guys. All right. So we can see this. All right, we're back to the aerial. We're seeing that, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we got an aerial. We're good. Here we go. So if you recall, back in, I want to say this probably was 3 or 4 years ago, we installed a bioretention area adjacent to the beach that overflowed into the lake. This would have been done, I want to say, geez, probably 4+ years ago.
Well, you
And
can still do that there.
yeah, right. Well, before the change in the
Right.
yes. So what we're looking to do now, so we've regraded portions of this to go towards the basin. A section will discharge into the wetlands with a storm scepter installed. Same idea going into the bioretention area because we have a little bit more area. So our pre-treatment with the forebay isn't going to be quite size enough, so we'll treat that again with the hydrodynamic separator. And then the last piece is that we have an existing culvert that connects this large wetland area to the lake. That has collapsed in sections. Right now, part of it's a pipe, part of it's the old stone box culvert. We're going to match the stone box culvert size back to a 2x4 culvert, and that's what we're proposing to do. We'll have some dewatering and sedimentation basins. Those are all shown within the design plans, and that's basically what we're looking to do. So we're trying to improve and add as many as many treatment options as we can. We do have those foxholes on this side as well for a low spot, but essentially that's what we're proposing at this point. So I'd be happy to answer any questions and hopefully be able to pull up a plan to show you these things.
So
So
where you said you had that box culvert,
Yep.
is that acting as like an equalizer pipe between the two? Between the
I
lake
wouldn't,
and-
I wouldn't say equalizer pipe per se, because I think right now the other one's perched, but it should be. So, you know, the wetland's a little bit higher than the stream the lake itself. So what we're doing is we're just kind of opening it back up to what it was historically and allowing that to you know to work as it used to. So, you know, I wouldn't call it necessarily an equalizer pipe per se because of the grades.
Okay.
And I can pull back up my, that's not the right one.
Bill, how long do you think all this work would take?
Well, we're hoping that this would be fairly quick. So this is one construction season. It's going to be ground down, so the road will be completely repaved and ground down back to dirt, regraded to allow the water to flow to the treatment systems that we're installing, and then basically repaved with the 2 layers of asphalt, and then providing obviously the new granite curbs that would be installed, and that would help to direct all the flow, obviously, to those new treatment systems.
So how
So
will the
that's, yep.
proposed grades compared to the existing grades?
Very similar. I mean, we're talking that we're moving things by inches, because we don't have the room, obviously, with floodplain considerations. We don't have a ton of room where we can do that. We have a small section of fill in this first section, but we're making it up by the culvert as the culvert opens up. We're going to open that up a little bit more to get our the same
What do you mean
the
you're
same
gonna open?
compensatory storage. We're gonna so it basically has a little stream right now, Jim, that is flowing in this little tree cluster here.
Yeah.
That goes in, and so this would open up. It's not all tree. The trees are closer to the closer to the shoreline, so we have some room where it's essentially just grass. We'd open up that grass area to get the compensatory storage, and regrade it to get to the same 1-to-1 ratio that we needed.
Is that the one that was in really bad shape right there? Or is that further-
This one's in bad shape for sure. Yeah, this was it partially collapsed and was
Right.
sleeved with an 18-inch pipe at some point. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
would
we
restore
saw-
it back to the 2x4. We can't meet the stream crossing standards, not that it's a stream, but we looked at it. That would require 14-foot box culvert. So what we'll do is we'll maximize to what it was before hydrologically. So give the same old hydrologic open, the 2x4.
Yeah, I think when we looked at that, there was some grade issues too. It was anything was barely moving.
Yeah, but there is a pitch. So what we'll do is we'll get that down to, you know, essentially so the wetland will connect and not be perched, but we'll get it right to the bottom of the wetland grade. And then aside from that, I don't think there's much to cover. We did look at this stone box culvert here, and cameraed that and had an evaluation done. That's another stone box culvert, but it's in perfect shape. So there's really no need for that to be upgraded at this point. So we're not proposing that to be done.
Yeah, the grades on that one were kind of were off also when we looked at that.
That's not off though. So that's actually per the original 1930s, 1940s reconfiguration of the water flow
Okay.
to get it into Lynn water sewer. So this was designed to have a high spot within it. So this acts now, it used to be the inlet. Now it's a secondary overflow is how it's, you know, how that was reconfigured to be. And then obviously all the main flow coming in was redirected, you know, up to the channel, you know, that's on the other side of 95 and eventually ties into the Saugus a little bit further down.
All right, yeah, and that's what we observed when we took a look out there.
Yeah, which, you know, we were looking, Rebecca and I actually had talked about this back in the day when we were looking at this, and I said, you know, honestly, this is the way it was designed to be done back in the plans from the 30s or 40s, whenever they did that work.
Okay.
So that's what I have. I'd be happy to answer any other questions if you have them. We didn't receive any comments from DEP, so at this point, and we have a number, so I'm happy to, you know, whatever we want to discuss further, I would be happy to do that.
Is your work going all the way around the new development? Is it stopping?
Stops on the
Right.
right when we get to their
Right.
property line. That's when we stop.
Right, okay, and then they're doing the rest of it behind them.
Yep, all of that, and so their configuration will be a little bit different. If you remember, we added a bike lane to go around it in one direction, so you'll be able to kind of go around the lake if biking fast, if that's what you choose to. You know, so we'll have a similar configuration on North Ave as well, but that's it's a little bit different cross section. They're not doing the shared use path towards the back. It'll go towards the front, and they'll have, you know, like kind of that walkway thing that goes over the bioretention areas, if you remember that project from back in the day. So, you know, we were able to coordinate this with the developer to handle the construction, which is great. You know, our requirement is to have this permitted, and which is what we're here for, to fulfill our obligation.
And I'm sorry, you said you're gonna do it now?
It's they're bidding it currently is what they would be doing. So they have our plans. They're going through and getting numbers for the cost of all of that. And
So they're actually constructing it.
yeah, it
You're
would be
just
us.
designing it.
Yeah.
And getting approval from us.
That's it. Yeah. So they've
Okay.
said that they want to build it. They can do it cheaper. So they'd have a higher number to provide us if we were to construct it. So that's why they're doing it that way. They'd have to pay more. So
This will be the first time you use that Guardian Fox product?
it is, yeah. And we were searching, to be honest with you. We went through I don't know how many different treatment systems. I mean, I think we went through, Tim, how many did you go through? 100? I mean, not that many, but probably in the tens of different types. But it is new. The big thing for us is the weird configuration, because we have that shallow to groundwater situation going, right? So
Yeah.
we need it to flow, right? And then we also have to be able to allow the walkway to go over. So this really is the perfect product for that, to allow it to happen. So, you know, it's better than what we have now, with 4-inch little pipes that essentially get clogged half the time. And, you know, if you're ever out there, there's a huge giant puddle, and wherever those are located, they eventually seep through, but you know, you get no treatment. Typically it's just over top in the sidewalk and flowing right in there. So this will at least get us the treatment we need. There's a maintenance schedule that we have to clean the screens and replace some filter mesh. There's like a filter mesh that's in it. That's how it gets most of the treatment.
You have an O&M plan for that?
Yeah, that's all included within our application.
Okay.
Yep.
And
just to be clear, though, it wouldn't be us that maintain it. So
Right.
that would be, it will be 200, 300. That's part of that. They would take on the ownership of that.
yeah,
Yeah. So we have because we have a weird agreement for Quinnipiac Parkway. Just the reason that we're permitting it is because it actually is a town-owned parcel, but the traveled way within that is is maintained by the abutters of it. So we helped to permit it to get this, you know, so we could get the better enhancement for you know, for the lake, and then they end up constructing and maintaining going forward. And then they'd have to provide us the, you know, with their annual reports that they provide us for their maintenance schedules, they would do this, and this would just be added into their operation and maintenance submittals.
okay.
So
Any
Bill,
other
how
questions?
much change is there to the actual alignment of Quannapowick Parkway?
None. We're staying within the same footprint.
Staying within the same footprint the whole way?
Yeah, we just, yeah,
Okay.
well, think of it like, so if you think there's a, you know, there's some what do you want to call them, the shoulders on either side of the road, those are
Mhm.
getting incorporated into the wider sidewalk, and that's how we're able to make all of this work. So nothing changes from a footprint standpoint. So we really focused essentially just on treatment, although we did, with that infiltration system is near North Ave, we expanded that just to, you know, infiltrate as much as we could.
Okay, that's cool.
Can you go back over the start of your project from North Ave back towards 200, 300? Because you whipped
I
right
would,
through.
Jim, I would love to say I can. We'll try it. It wasn't really being friendly with me last time. Oop, there it is. Bear with me. Okay. Oop. Yeah, this computer's running super slow. Bear with me, guys. All right, there we go.
Bill, do you want me to try to pull it up?
Yeah, it might be quicker with you, Tim, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I have it now. I can give it a shot and see if we can. Oh, yeah, why don't you bring it up?
When all else fails.
Right?
Yeah, you got your backup there.
I know, right? We got to have the backup plan, you know?
All right, so let's look at this area. Wherever you are doing, all right, well, explain to me what the light blue, the blue line is what?
So the blue line that you see all the way around the whole thing is limit of work.
Oh, okay,
And I probably could have picked a different color for that, so I apologize.
okay.
So that blue line is limit of work. The 100-year flood elevation is hard to see from this plan. It's just so large. You know, you'd have to really zoom in to kind of catch where it is.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
it's this black line down in here. And it goes out around this little area that we needed to bring up.
Moving that cursor too quick. Where is this? So now these little areas with the white lines on them, what is that again?
Just crosswalks.
Crosswalks.
Those are just crosswalks.
Yep. Yeah, those are
And
the
what are-
driveway openings.
And what are
Existing driveway.
the yellow
Just-
objects on each side of it?
Oh, that's just the wheelchair ramps.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's just
so
a
we're-
different color to show them.
And then the black line you say is right by the arrow. That black line, what is that?
That's your
Okay,
100-year
that's-
flood elevation.
Okay.
so that you can see the section, Jim, where we're filling this little maroon area. Tim, if you want to show that, or whatever that color is, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
right
That's the
in
little
here.
that's the little area fill, and then we're picking that up over on
That's
the
flood. That's
floodplain.
floodway fill. So you have
Yeah.
to compensate. And where are you compensating for that?
and that's getting compensated on the other side by the culvert.
Yep. So that is being compensated over here in this area.
It's a
Okay.
grass area, so that's the outfall. There's like a little stream thread thing or a ditch, whatever you want to call it, that's there. So we're just expanding that ditch area to to meet the compensatory storage numbers.
Where's North Avenue?
Note that's
So
way left.
Far left,
yeah.
far left.
beginning of the
That's-
black.
Yeah, beginning of the black. This is North Ave right there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can hear you. Do you have another area that you're filling?
No.
Nope.
Just that. Nope. Just that.
I just thought I saw you scan by a.
No, I don't think so.
No, the compensatory storage is on the extreme other side
Yep.
of the property.
Yep.
Yeah.
Towards the rotary.
Okay. Well, I don't have any issues here.
Any other questions from the commission?
No, not for me.
Nope.
Bill, one question, Bill, do you anticipate that you've got to do some vegetation removal along between the road and the lake?
We're hopeful that we don't have to be honest with you, because we're right on the back. We're trying to keep the grades essentially identical. The only thing you would have is really where these little foxholes come out. That's
Yeah.
the only spot, just because we want to protect that with some riprap. That's about it.
Yeah.
Everything else stays the same, and we don't go into the wetlands. We go right to the edge, so it doesn't. We're not touching the wetlands.
Okay.
As you can see, we're pretty tight. We don't really have. There's not much grade difference. We have essentially 6 full inches to play with all of this work. So we've had to regrade the road, circa to shade it to one side, super elevate it. So
Do you know if they figured out what they're doing over there at 50 Quantico Parkway?
I don't know at this point. Nothing has come before me.
Not that I'm just wondering when are you planning on doing this work?
We're looking to do this pretty soon. I mean, it would be done by the developer, and so it would align probably with their paving work for the
Yeah.
remainder of the site. So I think as they start getting into it, my guess is that they probably want it done pretty close to the time that they start occupying that first building would be my guess.
Yeah.
And so that's in a year and a half. So I would expect that next year they'd be going in earnest on this.
Mhm.
But we're on the hook for timing to get this approved in a certain time frame. So that's why we're here even a little bit earlier. But we got a plan. We want to get it approved.
Are there's speed bumps on Quantico Parkway now, aren't there?
I No,
Those are
on the in the
potholes.
those are in the back no, those are in the backside, right? So isn't that's when you get not through these straightaways? It's in
Right, yeah.
it's in the back area,
Right.
you know.
Okay.
As you go around the building.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they're really looking to. I don't. Those weren't proposed to go back in. I mean, we have bikes that would be going on there too, so that wouldn't really be a good deal. Plus, you have your driveway openings now for the garages and all that, and and the new parking areas to get in. So it's a little bit more, you know, a little bit more. I wouldn't say congested. You're going to see more cars going through there, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from the commission? All right. Any questions from the public? All right. We get a few minutes for 9, Bill. So thank you. Does anybody want to make a motion to close the public hearing on this?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second it.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor? Haley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Peter, Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. All right. It's probably not likely that we'll get to conditions, on this tonight.
Okay.
But anyways, we'll see what happens.
We'd be happy to take them.
All right, I do have a couple of minutes before the next presentation from Bill. Any other business anybody want to bring up? Elaine, you good?
I'm good.
Judy?
No, I'm all set. I told you about the open space plan, right? We got conditional approval.
Not tonight.
You told us that last
We
time.
talked.
Yeah, last
Okay.
meeting, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything new on that?
No,
Or?
Bill already has a grant to file under the new plan, so he's getting a jump on things.
Okay, excellent.
And I'm gonna put together a schedule for the speaker series we talked about.
Oh,
'Cause
yes.
most of them weren't available until May, June, something like that. But someone from the state is gonna come to talk about the biomap. Matt Byrne said he'd do a talk on vernal pools. I had gone to a webinar of his before, and he does an excellent job. Someone from Horsey Witten is going to talk about biodiversity. And we had something else. Linfield is also having, they have a tree committee, and they're having someone come out to talk about light pollution, an astronomer who lives in Linfield. If anyone's interested, that's on their website.
Yeah, good to know.
Matters to those of us who can see the Home Depot.
Yeah.
All right, I've got 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock, we got 468 North Ave, Town of Wakefield, public hearing, notice of intent for the installation of a new restroom facility, construction of the existing parking lot, and reconstruction of the pedestrian pathways in Vets Field and Hall Park within the 100-foot buffer to inland bank. Bill, looks like you're up again.
Tag me in. All right, we're back. So let me pull up my screen.
That is DP 3130641.
All right. So so existing conditions here at Hall Park and Vets Field parking lot. So we essentially have a one-way loop that comes through. We've looked at a bunch of different alternatives here to try to enhance safety for folks that are walking, from Floral Way to get over to Hall Park. We've looked at the conditions of the walkways within Hall Park that need to be replaced and improved. And then we're also looking at the new bathroom location, which is proposed over here. So if I jump to my proposed plan, there we go. Oh, is this going to do it again? All right. Can we see this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So we see a color plan that shows a lot of cool things and big red lines. All right.
Yep.
So good. So this is our proposed configuration for the new Vetsfield bathroom to be located at Hall Park, where there's that large overgrown bush thing that's there, and the storage container for the farmer's market. The bathroom is sized so that it would have two restroom, unisex bathrooms, restrooms to be used. And then we're sizing it to have some storage as well for public works, as well as the full storage for the farmer's market. They'd have some utility work that would go to connect from North Ave for our water and our sewer. We have some ADA enhancements where we have a small increase in pavement size in this area to add in the other handicap spot that we need. We've put two of them adjacent to the bathroom, and then two kind of where they are today that would allow walk to the to the flowway. We are also greening up a portion of this where we're extending to add another parking space, but adding some grass area and expanding where it is existing today. We're putting in a new bioretention area. So this will regrade the majority of the park, so this whole section of the park, into a new bioretention area to be located in the island that's there. There are two trees that are actually probably like 3 or 4 trees that have seen better days. Those will be removed and replaced with species that will do better with the high groundwater table. Some river birches that will thrive in this condition. And we basically have a couple of openings that would allow the water in. There will be an overflow system that will tie into the existing drain line that takes drainage from North Ave through the park and discharges at the boat ramp.
Now it does?
It does
Not now.
today. Yep. That's where it does right now. So we're going to keep that. We're going to replace the line through the parking lot in the areas that we're working, and reconfigure to have the overflows from the bioretention into that drain line. From a standpoint of grading, we have a couple of things going on with grading. So this is an update from the plan that you have. This has gone to the DEP today. And I'll get a copy to Elaine when she's in the office on Friday, just to tally up some of the regrading required us to kind of play around with the floodplain a little bit to make it all work. So we have a small 9 cubic yard flood area that's shown with the hatch going straight down. Compensatory section here where we're lowering, to make that offset. Then we have another section that gets lowered in this area. We'll have a new concrete walkway that will go around the back and open up right at the boat ramp. Boat ramp grading stays exactly the same as it is today. We're going to tie into the existing concrete that's there. We have new handicap ramps that would go on either side that we would need to do for cars that might be backing through here. And I think that's about it. There's not a whole lot that we're really changing aside from just kind of getting this additional treatment that we don't have today. Today it is, catch basins that are located in the, in the parking lot that essentially, we don't even have sumps that we could find in them. So we believe this has essentially no treatment at all for the parking lot. So we enhanced this to the new bioretention area. That is lined due to the high groundwater. We can't actually infiltrate, so this will just be for providing treatment only. Have an under drain that will tie into the drainage system as well. So, kind of similar to what we did on Quinnipiac Parkway, we just don't have the depth to do the stuff that we want to. So, this is the best we could make happen. So, with that, I think I can open it up for questions if you have some. It's
So
pretty
with the-
straightforward.
Yeah, so the catch basins that are still in the parking lot, there's nothing you can do to provide any additional treatment?
No, I mean, right now we're reconfiguring the grading to get all of this to grade into the center now. So you got to keep in mind that all of this will flow, and we're creating a high spot and sending it back into, a couple of low spots where the water will get into this bioretention area. So you're getting treatment pretty much as we could fit and get it into the bioretention area. That's what we were able to do. The rest of this just all sheet flows around. We have this existing catch basin that's going to be replaced, and that is proposed to have deep sumps, right, Nate? If you could pop on for a sec quick. Nate Chin's
Yeah,
one of our
yes.
senior engineers. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So that existing catch basin is basically like a field stone catch basin with no real sump in it. That would be replaced with a precast structure with a 4-foot sump on it.
Right.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
didn't
we could consider going like a hydrodynamic separator thing there to add more if that's what you folks are asking for. That might
Yeah.
work in this area too if you want to try that.
Yeah,
Bill,
that would
what-
be great if you could.
Cool. Yep.
You get more
that's easy.
TSS removal.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I think that makes sense. We're doing it in the other on Quinnipiac, so it makes sense to do it here too. But aside from that, that's basically the plan in a quick nutshell.
What about the stormwater standards?
The stormwater standards. So
Yeah,
redevelopment
for your-
standard.
Yeah, but I'm talking for your rain garden or whatever you want to call it. I call it a rain garden, but
Yeah, probably the same idea. Yeah, that's what it is. So, yep. So the standards, we can't infiltrate due to the separation to groundwater. So we're within 6 inches of it. Plus we're also within the zone A of the
Yeah.
water supply now. So that eliminates us to being able to infiltrate. So, so we've lined it to get the treatment. There'll be an under drain in the bottom of it to provide, the maximum amount. So we're right at 80% because we have a little stone diaphragm piece that we put in here. And then we would also have the bioretention mix and all of that stuff that's there. So it's infiltrating through there. Plants are taking up the phosphorus stuff and all of those good things. So that all happens for probably 2/3 of the parking lot now. That's the best we could make work with the grade limitations in the floodplain. So we have floodplain that runs around that extends. That's on the 82 contour. So you can, I'm sorry, the 83 contour. So you can follow that is where it is today. And then we have some sections where we're filling it to get some water to flow backwards into the bioretention area. So.
well, you got the the manhole that Bob was just talking about.
Yeah, well, this catch basin here.
Right. So how does that work if it's got only 6 inches of height between the ground and high water elevation?
Well, so it's still watertight. So you put in a new basin's going to be watertight. So it would, so it would, the sediment and stuff would fall down to the bottom of it, stick into that little hydrodynamic separator. These usually have water in them anyway. If you think about it, the water falls in, it still has that higher, higher outlet.
Yeah.
Once it gets out of that little swirl configuration thing. Yeah. So they're always usually full of water. So that it just basically creates the one that we would use is a different type. It's not the full swirl. It kind of drops through. It's a different version of the storm scepter.
Do you use in the winter? Do you use salt here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. They do for all the infrastructure in town does. Yep.
Is there anything we can do about that? For I mean, you're doing all work right next to the lake, and it's gonna be all
we don't maintain, like, we don't have the other stuff available. So for us to send one sanding crew for this one area to be different, I mean, that really is a different operation for us. I mean, we have one plow route that does sections of town. It's not just doing this. I mean, we do it on sites. I think we were good with it on the high school property because the high school folks maintain certain sections of it, right? So that's why we were good there. Here's a little different because it's all part of our plow route, so it's not something where that would really impact our operation to have to go back and then dump this here and then go back, reload, then come back again. I mean, that route would be very.
I guess what I'm asking is, are you salting it or are you sanding it? Or is it a combination?
We're not sanding. We don't sand. We're salting.
Raw salt.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that eliminates
So
sediment.
how would you be changing trucks?
If you wanted us to use a different material, we'd have to get
other than salt.
Yeah. So for changing from salt, then we'd have to do some, it would be very difficult for that route. Because it's handling, it handles around the lake, it handles other pieces, it handles neighborhoods on hills, it handles all that stuff. So it's, that we have, 12 or 15 plow routes that we use, and just operationally for, we're not just geared up to have a separate little pile to be able to go and do that at this point. But
you do plow and salt it all winter, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
is there anything that could be done at the outflow with maybe vegetation, salt tolerant wetlands?
It goes through a wall. Yeah. So because of the boat ramp, Normally we would think of something like that, peel it back, do something. But we're in a retaining wall for the boat ramp. Unless I was to relocate this
Or
and
angle,
go,
angle it to the right or something.
yeah, and then try to maybe have a berm thing or something there to catch it. But I mean, I would imagine it's so close to the water table. I wouldn't expect it to do much for salt. I mean, for that it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
How much salt do you put down there, when you plow it? I mean,
I don't have the spreader speed stuff. I mean, we're mandated to go ground speed control, so we definitely do that. So it doesn't dump a chunk, when you start and stop. It's the thing spins, faster as you get moving faster. So that's a requirement through our NIPD's
that's how
permit.
it's controlled, is by the speed of the truck?
Yeah, they call it ground speed control spreaders. That's what they call it.
Oh, okay.
The location of the restrooms, why was that spot chosen? Maybe not something closer to North Ave?
Well, there were 3 locations that we had. So as I was envisioning after they, tasked me with the project, I looked at a couple of spots. So we had this as one location. And really the main reason that this ended up being there was for the farmer's market storage, so that we wouldn't have multiple buildings, because there was probably going to be a need for them to have storage.
What are you gonna store in there?
I'm sorry?
What are you storing in there? You said
We're
you're gonna-
doing cleaning supplies for the bathrooms.
Oh, okay.
We have some stuff for the that we use at the fields, so that type of thing. Some of that material. Yeah. So, but
So why couldn't the farmer's market container be moved also?
why
You're gonna
couldn't
get
it
rid
be?
of that.
I mean, the
Yeah,
goal is to
they're
get
getting
rid.
rid
The
of
goal
that.
is to remove it. Yeah. So we'd have one structure on by the lake. So that was a direction from our town council.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
trying to follow you.
Yeah.
Restrooms and
So you
storage.
have the
So they-
you have the container for the farmer's market, and then you have, okay, so that's what it was.
That's what this. Yeah, we're putting it basically right on top of where the other where the container is, and then right
Okay.
next to it is a big, large, overgrown bush that has a big hole in the middle of it, and it's usually full of litter and all that stuff. So we're cleaning up that area.
But you didn't answer why you didn't move the whole thing over. I'm sorry.
Why I didn't move the whole thing? Yeah, well, so so we looked at. I proposed 3 locations. I proposed a location behind the backstop. I proposed a location basically right against the bleacher area, and then I proposed this location because basically I looked at it as 3 things. You'd have folks walking on Floral Way. They'd be able to stop at the backstop. Plus, the folks that are playing softball would be able to use it, and it's right next to a kind of a generator of use, right? Same idea, closer to the bleachers that has a water service that's existing. So we were trying to use that. We have a bubbler that's there, so we we're trying to reuse that. That was the reason for that location. And then this one was basically to provide the additional storage for the farmer's market. And so the guidance I received from our town council was to move in the direction with by the farmer's market and to provide the storage for them.
And you felt like you couldn't move it over again. I know this is a done deal, Bill.
Yep.
Closer to North Avenue. I mean, the
We
fact that
could,
it's right next to the-
it definitely could have been, yeah, for sure. But we were looking at kind of folks, how people walk around the lake, right? A lot of people cut down Floral Way and they'd be coming down across, and they pick it up essentially right here, right? We also have the farmer's market, right? So that's another reason. And, we did a bunch of public meetings on this. I want to say I had 3 or 4 of them. So, I was, I'm indifferent necessarily where it goes. I mean, we realized that this didn't really work from as we started thinking logistics about putting it by the bleachers. We were thinking kids might be jumping on the top of the roof, and that, kind of swayed that location. So I'm assuming they do something. Yeah, I'm assuming something that's not smart would be done there. So we decided that was taken out of the
I think
decision.
that's a good fit, actually. Well, because they're actually gonna probably have older people for the farmer's market now. Where all the young kids are playing baseball and stuff, they can walk.
What do you mean older
It's kind of the
people?
thought. That's kind of the thought. Jim, you're telling me I'm an older person now. That's
Yeah, what do you
I'm
mean
at that
older
farmer's
people?
market.
Good God.
Okay.
Oh, would there be trash
Good place, yeah.
receptacles like around the outside of that building or?
Yeah, Yeah, we would keep that. So we have a water bubbler that's affixed to the front of it. So folks that are walking through, you can have you can fill your water bottle or take a sip. That's there as well. We keep the water bubbler on the other side. That would remain. So there's a couple of water bubbles around for folks. There's an overhang canopy, so if it's pouring out and people are trying to get some shelter, they have that. In case they want to use the restroom with the kids or whatever it may be. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else we have for amenities.
How big is it? How many square feet is it?
Nate, you want to help me out? I want to say
I know it was like 20. I want to say it was 24 by 22, something about the dimension. So
that's the dimension. Let me do that quick.
Garage.
Yeah, about 525 square feet, somewhere around there, 530.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're offsetting obviously the impervious with what we're doing over here for for attenuation. We still get attenuation through the bioretention. So we're
How
able to
will
show.
facilities get cleaned and will they be locked up at a certain time of night or how does it work?
Yeah. So there's a it would be part of our so we have a access maintenance software that we use. This would be tied into that. There'd be cameras. I think the police chief wanted to see cameras there too. We would also have the cleaning would happen with public works staff. So that's all built in to our budget.
Okay.
Yep.
The island in the middle of the parking lot, so you'll have native species here, correct?
Yeah. So we have a planting plan that was included in the application. So typically our wetland, our bioretention plants, so it would be very similar to the one that's tucked on the hill. Nate designed that one too, so he put the same plants in this. A couple more trees. We're also replacing the light fixtures that are there. So that'll get rid of the overhead wires that are there. It would be undergrounded there, and you'll have a more decorative light pole that would look cooler with the kind of the upgrade to the area.
And would those lights have light shields, and would they be
dark sky compliant?
warm?
Yeah, we do all that stuff. Yeah, we got a couple of residents that have been very adamant about that. They know who they are, so we're all over that. You know what? One thing I didn't mention, one thing I forgot to mention, Bob, just so we have this little hatched area down here.
Yes.
So this would be right now this floods and just kind of holds water all the time.
Yeah.
We can't really grade to make it work, so we decided to make it into a pervious surface. So it would be like a pervious paver that would be installed. So just be like a crushed stone below it that allows the water to dissipate, as opposed to as opposed to the gravel that's there that just holds a puddle for weeks.
Those pervious pavers, those pervious pavers don't work.
They do if you're depending on on how you're using them. So not pavement. So it's pavers, and I mean I've had success with them. So on a couple of projects that I did, that I've even seen recently, they still work. So yeah, they do. I mean it depends on what you're going to get for around it. If you have a lot of grass and things that are, we don't have trees necessarily dropping on stuff on top of this. There's not a lot of things that are going to go on it. You have some snow that's going to be salted that would go in. That's not going to clog. So we don't have the what would cause the clogging in this area, because we have all the dirt, around it too. So that would stay, we're kind of getting rid of that dirt that's there. So it would be, button up to pavement and then butting up to a sidewalk.
So would it make more sense to put some sort of wetland species in there and almost make it a small rain garden or something like that?
From a maintenance standpoint, we can't do that. So our folks, the reason that's a big hole is because our maintenance trucks use that area to offload and to get their stuff into the field. So that's why we didn't propose it. That's why we didn't propose it. I would have done it as a planting area. That's what I initially planned.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I thought it would have looked good. But
are you proposing any additional plantings anywhere along that shoreline or anything?
I didn't at this point, but I'd be happy to consider it.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's something you want there, that's would make sense to me. If you want to maybe condition, if you're thinking a section or how many linear feet or whatever you want to do, we can condition that to be a plan that's designed and provided to Elaine for review.
Yeah, I don't have anything off the top of my head. I'm thinking of I know there's some areas close to the water that aren't maybe in the greatest shape.
Yeah, and I've heard from the Friends, they had mentioned to me at one point that they were looking to do some plantings in some areas. There's some overgrown areas that's just kind of scrubby and invasives. Remove some invasives and install some stuff. So, and that is happening through a different process. But
Okay.
so we've been pretty adamant. I think they're looking to do kind of similar idea where it would be kind of pollinator type stuff that we
Right.
would do. Yep. So it's similar to what we did as you're walking down Floral Way in the corner where we kind of planted that stuff, and then obviously we did the wildflower the wildflower mix too, which is good. It's been pretty successful.
Can I ask, in the parking area where you're adding that extra handicap spot and
Yep.
doing more pavement,
Mhm.
what's the reason for doing it there as opposed to just taking another spot to the left and turning that one into a handicap?
Spot to the left. What do you mean? Like,
Uh,
I'm not following your question.
so you're
Taking one of
adding,
the
so
existing spaces.
Oh, well, part of it is because you have the way the handicap spaces work. So I'm also the disability coordinator for the town. So, when you're designing the site and you're designing the handicap spaces, there's certain requirements. So we would have to expand it wider if we were to do it as a standalone. So we'd have to have a 5-foot aisle. If we back the two of them up together, they can share the middle 8 feet hatched area. So that's why we end up saving spaces. That's why we do it that way.
right, but like shifting those spots from where they are plan right to a spot over to the left.
So the
You'd be
reason that
losing one regular spot, yes.
Yep. So today we have 3 handicap spots that are located right along the loop. One of them ends up blocking our ability to get into. I mean, this is actually they actually show them here. You can see the handicap spots through here. What it does is actually blocks our access to Floral Way as we're doing maintenance. So that was a problem. So we shifted these to allow the 2 spaces to be up here. So I think folks like to use it for view sheds. I heard that during the public meetings. So if some folks want to stay and park there and be able to use it, so it's kind of helping the disabled folk or mobility impaired folk to be able to essentially use the lake at that location. And then these other locations just because of the proximity to the bathroom. So that's that's sort of the thought process with it. It's the access to get to the bathroom, and we have a walkway and a ramp that goes right to it.
Okay, but then that brings us back to, could the whole thing be shifted like even just a few feet further plan left, closer to North Ave? That way the bathroom shifts over, that
Well,
access ramp is shifted over, those spots are shifted over, then that extra pavement isn't needed.
It's going to be needed. The footprint has to stay. The footprint has to stay. If you're saying shifting the whole footprint over,
No.
yeah, okay.
Just those elements within the footprint.
Well, they're all spaced out to meet a standard. So we have a standard parking space width. So we're meeting that. And then we have, for the handicap spots, you have an 8-foot wide, it's 9 foot for a standard space, 8 foot wide for the parking spaces, and then 8 feet for the aisle that's in between them. So if I jump maybe back to this plan, so we have the aisle that's in, is this gonna not help? Okay. So we have the aisles that are in between, and that gives us that width. So we need the area, so if we were to separate a spot, that would cause an issue. We also added a couple spots towards the back end to provide some additional parking spaces for folks that are going down there. I think our net increase was what, Nate, like 2 or 3, 4 maybe?
Something like that. It's actually on the existing conditions plan, the rendering I created. I listed out the additional spaces.
Oh, all right.
So so no matter which way you do it, you're gaining spaces.
We're gaining spaces.
So
yeah,
why would that first one, like you had, so where you had the first spot, why would that not be, call it the second one and shift over? Then you would, yes, lose from your gained spaces.
So we'd eliminate a parking space. So I think we're trying to get more parking spaces for folks trying to use the lake. That's the goal. That was part of the goal too. So, I mean,
How about bike parking? to encourage more biking and scootering and stuff like that? Is there a plan for more bike parking and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that was a request from the town council too. So we have that built in. So we're thinking a couple of spots. We'd have one by the new bathroom, and then we can do one by the backstop here.
Those will be what, racks for locking?
Yep, yeah. A few racks based on the size, probably like 2 or 3 of what we would need for use out there, I would think.
So essentially, Bill, the additional paving is just that notched out area where the bush is now.
You have this right here, and then we
Yeah.
expanded and picked up another 1 or 2 spaces right here.
Right, okay.
Yep. So those are the areas that we picked it up. You didn't do anything here, Nate, right? If I look at the other one.
It did push out a little bit there.
You pushed
Yep.
this. You pushed
Yeah.
this out too. Yeah. So we have.
Yeah. So if you look at that 18 spaces plus 2 EV, for example, at the top there closest to Hall Park, you can see that, in that row there, we gained, 4 additional spaces.
Yep. 2 handicap, but yes. Yep.
Yeah. And then, for example, the next row down,
We gain
additional
one.
space.
Yeah. We gain one here, and then we gain, these stay the same. It looks like, but
The same, because it shifted over, I think if you compare it to the proposed.
let me pull up the proposed. Let me pull up the proposed.
Site rendering.
It's gonna jump in a second. There you go. Okay. Yeah, so you got a little bit of room there and there. So yeah.
Bill, has there ever been talk about that backstop, replacing it with a taller backstop?
Not at this point. We
Number of
don't have it.
softballs that end up in the lake, it's crazy.
Oh, really? Yeah. So, I mean, it's something to consider for sure. I mean, I think maybe when we would replace it, I mean, it's not, we have worse backstops at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think, the park folks, I mean, we have a couple of projects we're trying to look at. Molten being one of the bigger ones that we're trying to, kind of fix. And, we have that fit court that was put in, and it looks like it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but that's because we have a master plan for that whole area. So that will be, I think, the first plan for park improvements. And then we'd start looking at ticking them off. I mean, we did Walsh a few years ago. So yeah, I think the idea would be to come up with a master plan eventually for all of them to be replaced. I mean, they're gonna need it.
Yeah, that backstop is definitely not tall enough for that location.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you can go with more of like a netting so you can see through it better too. So
Right.
that it can go a little bit higher and you don't end up having this big chain link fence,
Yeah.
so kind of similar to what we did. We ended up doing that at Walsh actually.
All right, any other questions from the commission?
Nothing additional.
Did you do some sections, Bill, through that middle?
Would be shown on the details.
I thought I saw some sections on one of your drawings.
On this one?
Or maybe
I think it was for the other one, Jim, that I showed the foxhole section to explain how that worked. Is that what you were thinking of?
I don't know now.
Yeah, because I don't have, I have it in the plan set. It shows kind of how to build, how it's going to get built and whatnot.
Yeah, how the rain garden's going to get built, right?
Yep, it shows that. Yeah, and so we have a curbing there's a curbing that will be there, and then there'll be some gaps in the curbing to allow the water to get through, and it has these, some stone so it doesn't erode.
Do you have that drawing on your computer, or you don't have that?
I don't think. Nate, do you have it on yours?
I don't actually, but it's on detail sheet D3 if you guys have a copy of that. It's just a typical cross section of how the rain garden will be constructed.
Hold on a second, I might have it. Give me a sec.
I have it up if you want it.
Cool, why don't you do that? Let me stop sharing. Have at it. Tim, you're putting in for the extra meeting. That's good.
Right,
yeah. Right. So that shows our parking lot pavement, and then you have the curb, and then our P-stone diagram, which would be in the sections where the curb, dives down.
Yeah, so
essentially.
this one you're lining.
Yeah, this one gets lined because it's just our separation of groundwater was I want to say 6 inches, 3 inches. It was awfully tight. So
Okay.
Makes sense.
yeah.
All right. And there's your planting plan.
Yeah, and if you scroll up, Tim, we'll show you the planting plan. Yep, so that shows kind of how we're doing this. We have where are the trees? Which ones are the trees? I'm not seeing them.
I don't see any trees.
I don't see any trees. We'll make a change to add that in for you. We'll add in, if you want to maybe condition 4 river birches, that would probably make sense.
How wet's that gonna get, Bill?
How wet? Oh, it's
Yeah.
wet. It's wet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
I
looking
mean, it's
at,
gonna be
you know,
full. It's gonna be full of water, but I mean, we set it up so it's not at the water table level. We're above the
Mhm.
water table, so
Bill,
yeah.
there's a
The
reason
only
why we
reason I
didn't.
ask is a lot of those plants aren't gonna tolerate a lot of standing water around them.
These guys do. So they're bioretention plants. So a lot of these will can actually be planted on the slope as we're doing it in the slope. So it
Okay.
comes up and down. That's the key.
Okay, so it's on the slope rather
Yeah.
than sitting in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah, and they also have we also have an underdrain in this, so it won't be standing water and staying water that long. So it will, dissipate. They die out when they're standing in standing water all the time.
Yeah,
That's when it
that's
becomes a
what I'm
problem.
thinking.
But with the underdrain, we won't have that happening.
Okay.
I just wanted to make a note with the river birches that this is a lined bioretention area. So
Yeah, we put it to the outside of the bioretention area.
okay, you want to, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we can stick them outside and around there. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right, any other questions regarding this?
Maybe this is for a different group or meeting or whatever, but is it possible to talk about adding some sort of informational signage about the bioretention area in the center there
Yes.
so people understand it better?
Yep.
a good
Yeah,
idea.
we do that for the other ones, and we'll do it for this one. Yep. Yeah, I think I want to add a couple. One of the things we're looking to do, Haley, is a cool little like a GIS walk that would have you could go to a website and follow a map to all the different locations that would show you kind of what we did while we did it, the types of plants, all that stuff. So
Fantastic.
yeah, I think
I
it'd be a
like that.
cool. Yeah, she'll have like a little QR code you can bip and get you to the spots.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, we're doing the work. Might as well let everybody know we're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it should look nice when it's
I
done.
think so.
They need the bathroom down there. They've needed it.
It's been a long conversation, Jim. It's been going on that's been a long conversation for many years, I hear. So
No, and then they took down one that they had down the other end of the lake.
I know.
That was a mistake, I think.
Yeah, well, they got one back though, so they ended up getting it. So
Porta potty?
yeah, Quinnipiac Parkway, they'll add one as part of that large development. So there'll be a
Oh.
public bathroom built into that that folks can
Oh,
use.
that's right too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's
So
good. That's
yeah,
great.
I think so.
Looks good. Looks
And
good. Bill.
that one was there when the beach was a functioning,
Beach.
thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I may or may not have dipped my toes in when that beach was operational.
Hey, Jim and I water
definitely.
skied on Quinnipiac years ago.
There you go. I swam and I used to jump off the pipe coming out of the lower common as a itty bitty little guy. So
Yeah.
I remember doing it.
Did you get caught up in the foam?
No, no. I had a green hue when I came out. It was a little.
All right. There you go.
Yeah. I lived through it though, so whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this project?
I don't think so. I don't know. I think there's a lot of the stormwater standards that you're not meeting, but it says to the best.
Yeah.
What's most practical, what you can do.
Yeah, we try to maximize.
Yeah, I did look through that. And you had pretty good reasons, so I can't question that, I guess.
Are there any questions from the public regarding this project? All right, hearing none. We're not looking for any additional information, is that correct?
Well,
I think you could,
we want to put, Haley's request in about the signage.
And there was something new sent to
tree.
DEP today, correct?
Yeah, this grading plan. Yeah. The grading plan that we showed you, that showed the compensatory. That's all.
And the other thing we discussed was adding, as Bob suggested, some plantings along the shoreline.
Yep, and the trees and the bioretention. So I think we can
Right.
condition, if you want to condition all of those guys to be added, that's fine by me.
Okay.
All right, would somebody like to close the public hearing?
I'll move that.
Motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
All right, all in favor? Haley,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
and I also vote to close the public hearing. All right. Thank you, Nate, Tim, and Bill. Anything else? I don't know if we want to discuss any conditions or not. We just kind of laid them out.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of what we wanted to add. Elaine, do you have enough to draft?
So standard order conditions with,
We have all those spaces where they're blanks, remember? For distances.
yeah, in this case, they're going right up to the edge.
No distance.
Okay, so what I have for orders of conditions, I just took a few notes here. There should be plantings along the shoreline, native species, but I don't have a linear feet.
Yeah, I think we'll probably rely on you, Lane, to maybe take a look and see what you suggest.
Okay, Bill, I'll talk to you about that.
Sure.
And then I have informational signage. I know Bill said he was going to do it anyway, but I put it in as an order of condition.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
What is that going
to? The area.
What is that going to look like? That signage?
Well, I did one at the head of the lake in Gertrude Spalding Park. That might be a little. It's a little bigger though. Yeah, it's not looking so hot. So I can come up with something else for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I can have it if you want to maybe designate somebody to review it or a lane to review it. I can.
Yeah, because I want it to look nice. You know, I don't want.
Well, I intended it to look nice, Jim.
I'm sure you did.
It didn't quite happen though. It didn't stay together. So,
Yeah.
but we can find something and make it more, more.
Yeah.
Durable.
It does look
word.
nice.
I mean, it looks nice.
Does look very nice. It does look very nice, but it's something. It just needs to be a little bit more durable. This new one.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we can figure something out for that.
And then I have add 4 river birches to the rain garden.
Yep.
Is river birch the right tree?
Well, they work well in high groundwater. They're good in high groundwater.
Okay, but the river birch, is that white bark? Is that one with white bark, or is it? I know some of them are.
Oh, wait, you can. Well, the river birches aren't. They're not the white bark ones. They're the it's like a brownish, but it still has the same peely type of bark.
Okay.
But I put them in actual rain gardens, and they've done well. So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna do these a little outside of the the liner and whatnot. But
okay.
So that's 3 conditions I have. Was there any more?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. So do you want to see a draft for the next meeting? What do you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Yes.
Okay.
What are we doing about the blanks to be filled in though, where it's basically
zero.
nothing? Yeah.
We probably should do away with those provisions.
Well, we can get whatever dimensions and stuff. I can work with Elaine on that. if there's something.
Yeah.
I mean, we go close. We don't go right up to it though. There's some offsets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'll go over that with Bill and we'll figure out a suitable setback for those provisions.
Okay.
Great.
All right, so we'll have a draft for the next, actually you could circulate a draft. And then could vote on it the next meeting.
Beautiful.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, anything else?
No.
All right, well,
All right.
thank you.
Thanks, folks. We'll see you soon. I'll probably see you at the next meeting.
All right, good night.
All right. We'll see you. Take care.
Right.
All right, we'll see you. You done?
All right, I think we're done. Somebody'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
It's
Haley,
been fun.
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
and I also vote yes.
So hopefully you'll come on the 29th, everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone
Sorry, I'm gonna
and your
miss-
friends and your neighbors and their friends and everyone.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna miss it.
No, you're not.
We'll make a cardboard
Well,
cutout out of you. We'll just
okay.
raise your fake hand.
Add me as a
So I
challenge
thought
getting signed in.
I'd send an email to Bronwyn Della Volpe. I have conversations with her from time to time and ask to notify the Friends of Lake Quannapowitt. That's all right.
Mhm.
You mean the Friends of the Forest, right?
No, like
Bronwyn?
No, this is
She's
of the
friends with
forest
Lake Quannapowitt too, isn't she?
of Lake Quannapowitt.
Oh,
Notify them
Either way.
of Water Lane.
Of the
make sure
budget.
they bring people.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
In
okay,
support of
for
the
the town,
budget.
for the town meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
That's a good thought.
Okay. Yeah, she should be, they're a nice cohesive group. It would be nice if they brought that block of voters down.
Do you have an email address for the finance Kevin, the town accountant, Kevin?
Kevin Gill?
Yeah.
Just gill@wakefield.ma.us.
Okay. Yeah, he was very nice to us when we appeared before the finance committee the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Becca got some good financial information from him, which is not surprising, but she did say he was helpful.
All righty.
All right, we did vote to adjourn already, so I am going to end this for the last time. And
Thank you for your time.
Been a pleasure, Bob. Been a pleasure.
Oh, bye, Bob.
You can always come on a sidewalk anytime you feel lonely.
Okay, I'll keep my eyes open for those invites.
Okay.
All right.
Bye bye all.
All right, we'll see everybody.
Bye.
Bye.